Hey, welcome to episode number 54 of the Ask Sri Vishwanath show. It's very late evening here, and in today's episode, we'll speak about how to overcome lust. What is the easiest way according to Krishna?
You ask questions and I answer them. This is the Ask Sri Vishwanath show.
Alright, so today's question is Stefan, and Stefan says, I'm addicted to pornography, that addiction, has reduced, but, every day when I get up, the craving for lust, for making love, with women just increases with every single day. I'm just not able to overcome that. So what can I do? Because I've tried everything and it's just not working. So Stefan, that's a universal problem, right? One of the main reasons for why we get into trouble. But here's the thing. First I want to thank you because you've acknowledged the problem. So you're many steps ahead of other people. So you've acknowledged the problem. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to aggravate the problem. I want you to write this down. Aggravate the problem. So let's say if you don't have food to eat, what would you do? You'd somehow find means to grab some food, right? So aggravate your problem. Just don't look at it mindly saying, okay, I need to overcome lust and overcome this craving for women and all that stuff. Aggravate the problem. You got to find a solution within 24 hours, within 48 hours. Aggravate the problem. Take your problem to all the top universities, to the professors, to all those great intellectual people, and you will know that they will not be able to give you the answers. And you aggravate the problem, you will know this thing, that self-effort and willpower will not work. You see, when you aggravate the problem and you really want to get a solution, you will know that no matter what you do, you keep failing. When you aggravate the problem, you'll understand that you will have to dump self-effort and willpower. That's just not working. Your body, mind, intellect cannot help you overcome this problem of craving for women. It just cannot. So when you aggravate the problem, you're really serious that I want to find a solution for it, you will know that your body, mind, and intellect, those three resources through which you did every single thing in this earth, cannot help you. All logic, common sense, every single good quality you have cannot help you. The domain of body, mind, and intellect cannot. Your self-effort and willpower, no matter how it is, it just cannot help you overcome this, because it has risen to the surface. So what do? You dump self-effort and willpower, and you take recourse in this thing called knowledge. Because when these three domains go away, then this thing called consciousness, which people take it very lightly, or they just look at it intellectually, this just opens its floodgates, and you will be able to overcome the same thing within less than 24 hours. Because consciousness can teach you how to overcome lust. What even some of the greatest intellectual people, some of the most wealthiest people, and no matter what, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, all your close friends, the most intellectual people and the wealthiest people cannot help you in this regard, but your own consciousness can teach you how to overcome lust and enjoy abundance and love in less than 24 hours. When you surrender to knowledge. And Krishna taught that to Arjuna beautifully. Arjuna was in the midst of battlefield, and he had to, basically kill the opponent. So he had to kill his own, teachers and all, because they were on the opponent's side. And so Arjuna did not want to fight. And so Krishna said, one's own law of righteousness, though defective, is superior to others well observed. Death in following one's own law is better than doing others' fortunes. So Krishna said, even if you kill those who are on the opposite side, your enemies, you don't have to worry. You will not incur the sin of killing, because that's your dharma, that's your duty. So fight. So Arjun then asked the next question. So how does one incur sin? How does one incur sin? And Krishna says, and I want you to listen to this carefully. He says, its source is craving wrath, born of the conscience, Rajo Guna, Rajas Guna. Know it to be a foe in this context. Just as fire is obscured by smoke and mirrored by the dirt, embryo by the worm, so is knowledge by craving, the knowledge of the conscience. And knowledge of the knower is obscured by this mist of craving, as insatiable as fire. Its dwelling place is the body, mind, and intellect. Therefore, with the senses control, mind control, destroy this wicked craving that destroys all intelligence. They say the senses are noble. Nobler the senses, the mind. Nobler the mind is the intellect. Nobler and the intellect is the supreme self. Hence, worshipping him who is nobler and the intellect, restraining the self that will destroy the enemy within that is craving so hard to reach. And so there are about 7 or 8 verses. This is knowledge that it's not you who are suffering. You see, you should know that the source of all this is of gunas. Gunas meaning you just can't do anything. No one in your position, Stefan, would have been able to overcome it. So don't feel bad about it. It's because of the gunas. So when you surrender to that knowledge, it's because of the gunas, because of all your earlier impressions. You see, Krishna says that all of us, have these 3 gunas, which is like sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic meaning all divine, and rajasic meaning intellectual, and tamasic meaning all instinctive. So all along, since you have accumulated all these impressions of instinctive qualities, that is coming at the surface, and because of that, it's just making you think and act. Now, with knowledge, you can easily get out of this. So just listen carefully. Whenever you see the picture of a woman, whenever you see something is relayed back, that means that image of a woman is relayed back. It happens very fast. It is relayed back. It is referred back to your, the whole waves. It's referred back to this whole waves. And there it sees a similar image of women and it says yes. And it relays back the feeling which you associate with that image. So the feeling is one of pleasure, it relays the feeling of pleasure, and so your thoughts is of pleasure and your actions of pleasure, and you go ahead and do that action. Now, when a child sees that, the same image of woman, it doesn't get the feeling of pleasure, it gets some other feeling, right? Or maybe, Krishna sees that, or Jesus Christ sees that, because they don't have this waves of excess of tamas, instinctive and rajas. They are only sattvic. So if you are only sattvic gunas, when the image of woman is referred, it would be one of respect. Did you get that? It would not be one of pleasure. So it's because of this thing existing inside of you as gunas that you're getting all these things. So the question is, how do you produce more sattvic gun? And so if this is not there, the tamas guna is not there, you will never get back the feeling of pleasure. You see, because you see it, it's referred back, it sends back the feeling of pleasure, and then you get this. So to a child, that's why they never get that. To people like Krishna, Arjun, and to people like Krishna, Christ, they never get that. So how do you, if you have on your surface lots of sattvic gun, you will never get this feeling of pleasure, and you'll be able to get out of this whole thing. So the question here is, how do we generate sattvic gun? And the thing is, self-effort and willpower cannot. The only thing which can help you generate the sattvic gun is your consciousness, is your jiva. Because that, when you generate it, and that if it's there at the surface, then when you see the picture of the woman that's referred back and the surface is full of sattvic guna, fully of consciousness, love, joy, abundance, all that stuff. And it will relay back that same thing, and you will never get that feeling of pleasure, that craving, that, wanting to just blindly get into that. And that is very, very important. And so, there is something very, one thing more interesting, and which I want to share with you. You see, there are 2 types of people. One is people who are guilty, and the other is shameless. So, you are like guilt, you're feeling guilty that, I really want to stop this. So, your guilt, see, when you see a woman, okay, the same image goes there and gets that feeling and is triggered back to your thought. And in that, you also have this feeling of guilt. So this feeling of guilt is actually aggravating your feeling of craving. Did you get that? Because you have guilt also. Guilt is also a tamas guna. You see, you have this guilt that you are doing something wrong, that, all these things, which is good, but it's aggravating your the craving. And same with the other people who are shameless or ignorant, even in that case, their shamelessness is aggravating the craving. So both guilt and shamelessness will aggravate the craving. But here's good news for you, Shivan. Krishna says, due to its beginningless, that means the jiva, due to its beginningless and having freedom from attribute, the Supreme Self, though dwelling in the body, is unstained. So your consciousness will never does not have any guilt. It is clean, even if you make love 10 times a day. This is very important, and don't say this to everyone. No matter what you do, your consciousness is clean because due to its beginningless and freedom from attributes. You see, the consciousness is free from attributes. It does not have guilt, it does not have shame, it's not ignorant, it's full of joy, bliss. And it's not affected by your thoughts and actions. You see, the consciousness is not affected by thoughts and actions. Did you get that? So, just get rid of this guilt and be free. Your consciousness cannot have guilt because it's free. So, don't aggravate your craving through having these feelings of guilt. You're fine, you're conscious. See, you can either take recourse in your thoughts, body, mind, and intellect, or you can take in your consciousness. And Krishna says, you are your consciousness, not your thought action. So that's the first step. Don't have any guilt because the consciousness can never falter. So how do we get excess of sattvic gun? As you take pride in your consciousness. And here's what you do. Every day after you get up, just sit in the morning and write down these 3 verses and read it and meditate on it. This is the first verse. Him the weapons cannot cut. Him the weapons cannot cut. Fire cannot burn. Water cannot wet. Air cannot dry. The self cannot be cutted, dried, burnt, or wetted. Eternal, all-pervasive, stable, immovable, everlasting, the self reigns. Okay, this is the first verse which talks about that the consciousness cannot be cutted, dried, burnt, or wetted. The second is, you write down this word. Due to its beginningless, that means never had a beginning, consciousness never had a beginning. Due to its beginningless and being unborn, it was never born. Due to its beginningless and being unborn, and having freedom from attributes, the Supreme Self, though dwelling in the body, is unstained and thus is unstained. So, no matter what your thoughts and actions do, still now, all those waves which are accumulated does not matter because you are the ocean. And so, your consciousness is unstained, Stefan, and that is the pride which you have. And the third is, write down, that which is poison in the beginning, or ambrosia, nectar in the end, is said to be sattvic pleasure. That which is ambrosia in the beginning, but poison in the end, is said to be rajasam pleasure, Krishna said. And that which is poison in the beginning, as well as poison in the end, is tamasic pleasure. So we've got these 3 pleasures: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic is that which is poison in the beginning, but ambrosia in the end. That means in the start it looks like as if everyone is enjoying, I'm not. But in the end it's so blissful and peaceful because you get in touch with the consciousness. And rajasam is that is ambrosia in the beginning. You feel like going for it, and in the end it's all, the end is poison. And tamas is the beginning and end both is poison, like drinking and all that stuff. So these are the 3 verses. The first is him the weapons cannot cut. Second is due to its beginningless. And the third is that which is poison in the beginning, but ambrosia in the end, is said to be sattvic pleasure. And that is what you got to do. That just one thing, it might look as poison because other people are just enjoying and all these things, but it is poison in the beginning, but ambrosia in the end. That is sattvic pleasure. And that is what you got to know. You got to get, because just a split second change can change you. So do these 3 verses, take pride in your consciousness, and within 24 hours, it will just go away because you will have no way, there will be no guilt in you. You'll have pride in your consciousness. Your consciousness is like lion, and your lust is like mouse. When a mouse goes to the lion, it's like the lion is so wonderful. So the consciousness is like the lion and the craving is the mouse. So just enjoy, take pride in your consciousness. Don't just remove that guilt. Know that you're free. No matter what you have done, this does not get affected, and you are your consciousness. And you can do all that which Krishna said. You'll be very, very happy. I hope I answered your questions, Shriman. You keep asking questions, and I keep answering.